that was a disgrace.
Yeah.
And that referee was 4 yards away from it. If you look at the freeze frame of when his foot connects with his ankle, the ref is looking at it like that,
Yeah.
and he's 4 yards away. How is that not a red card? So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And last night, Birmingham City beat Huddersfield Town with an absolute screamer from KESHI Anderson. How great is it to have him back? And it was a gritty game in parts. It was quite controlled in parts. But most importantly, we got the 3 points and we carry on this momentum. And things are looking very, very good. So, Dad, Huddersfield Town 0, Birmingham City 1. What are your thoughts?
Well, firstly, I'm dead jealous. As you know, I couldn't get time off work, and you got tickets, so you took your sister, and I was watching it at home like everybody else. But yeah, fantastic. I mean, we did say before the Wrexham game that if we were to not lose both games, it would be fantastic, and that's happened. But actually, the Huddersfield game, we've come away with all 3 points, and I'm absolutely chuffed to bits. I mean, we'll get into the nitty gritty of the game in a minute, but look at our position now where we are. We're top of the league. We're 8 points clear of third place with 2 games in hand, and we've played all of the top 6 away, and we've only got 2 of the top 6 to play at home. So we've played all the teams in and around us as well, mainly. We're in a good position. Again, we take nothing for granted, Matt. With Birmingham City, we know our history, but it feels different this time, doesn't it? But we are in a great position now to move forward, and the only thing that's going to stop us going up would be ourselves.
If any club could do it, though, it would be Blues.
Absolutely. If any club,
I am joking, but I'm sure Blues fans can relate to that.
They know.
If anyone can do that, it's Blues, isn't it?
They know exactly what you mean, Matt.
But no, and I think I want to hit that point and word home that I said in my introduction, momentum.
Yeah.
Since the Shrewsbury game, we've only conceded 3 league goals.
In 12 games.
In 12 games.
Staggering.
Absolutely outstanding. And again, it wasn't like a game last night that was going to set the world on fire, apart from the goal, which we will get onto because wow. But, it was quite gritty in the parts. We kind of got stuck in, kind of got mucked in, and then in other parts of the game, we were quite controlled. I thought we had really nice passages of play. We played out from the back successfully quite a few times. Laird got through quite early on, nice on the right-hand side. KESHI got through on the left. So we were building into the game quite nicely. But for me, the defensive record we have, I never felt in danger. I mean, they had a couple of crosses. They had a corner. They had a few headers.
Every team gets chances.
Every team gets a few chances. But there was not one point during that game where I thought, oh, no. In the Wrexham game, Dad, for the past 20 minutes, we were under the cosh. And you felt the pressure from Wrexham in that second part of the second half where it was like building and building. I never felt that last night. I felt like we were in control. They didn't really lay a glove on us, to be honest. And I think, as far as that goes, Dad, we highlighted the last 2 games, Wrexham and Huddersfield. Brilliant. 4 points.
I think the Huddersfield fans summed this up for me because I looked on social media just after the game. Obviously, there was a reaction to their second home loss in a row, and they were saying, and this was on X. There's loads and loads of reaction, but the key ones that I picked out. What one Huddersfield fan said, we came down together, but they're light years ahead of us. And the other one said, we allowed the Brummies to look like Barcelona with their passing. And they said they just passed it around us, and I think that shows the difference between the 2 teams. They really, like you say, they didn't really have any major really big. I can't think of one save that Allsop had to make that was a difficult one. It was just catching it, and
there was no saves he had to make. There was one header. I think it was about 10 minutes before full time, but it just went past the boat. But it was a half chance.
Yeah,
that was the only time I went, oh. But apart from that, Dad, I wasn't worried.
I think Dion Charles had a header near the beginning of the game, which literally was a cross, a good cross, and came straight, but it straight into his arms. It wasn't even a save, really. It was just a catch. But I think we'll come on to Huddersfield in a minute. But onto the starting lineup, which I think was interesting. We talked, didn't we, in our unscripted podcast, the one that went out a few days ago, that can we play Stansfield and May? Are they effective together? And actually, in the starting lineup, Chris Davis decided to put Alfie May on the bench. So Anderson started, but he started on the left, which is brilliant, obviously, because that wasn't expected. We had Taylor Gardner-Hickman on the right, and Awata was back in the midfield alongside Leonard. So Stano was at number 9, Dykes at number 10. And I thought that was a really good lineup choice. I think everyone was saying Stano's not as effective on the left, and we tried him at number 9. And I think that lineup worked pretty well. I mean, we were creating chances, but I think the issue that we have in the final third, we're just not incisive enough, and it's just not clicking exactly in terms of we're getting crosses in and we're just missing them and stuff like that. But it'll come.
Do you think, just on the conversation of the number 9, Dad, do you think Chris Davis now he's tried Alfie May in the 10. He's tried Stansford on the left. Obviously, last night we saw Stano in the 9 and May on the bench. Do you think he's maybe coming to the realisation it's one or the other in the 9 instead of shoehorning in?
Yeah, I think in an ideal world he'd like to play them both because they're both great players. You know, they're both goal scorers. But we said in that unscripted video that by playing Stansfield on the left, you're denying a proper winger a place to get the supply and the crosses in because Stansfield's tendency is not really to supply; it's
He's
to
a
go
9.
for goal.
He's a 9,
exactly, which is natural instinct. I think that sort of showed a little bit in this game over here. Interestingly, for Huddersfield, there's no Joe Taylor or Ben Wiles in their team. Now, Joe Taylor was a surprise because I didn't read anything before the game. He's their new. If you don't know who he is, he's their new signing, £3.3 million they bought from Luton, wasn't it?
It was.
Was Luton? Yeah.
And I saw the interview with Duff. It wasn't tactical. Of course, it wouldn't be tactical. It was just a fitness / sort of injury thing with Joe Taylor. So. Yeah, just happened to miss the game through injury.
Yeah, so they set up in their usual way, didn't they? Huddersfield. I think we did well. I mean, again, at the end of the day, you got to look at our defence. You mentioned it in the intro, Matt, about our defence and how solid it was. But the defence isn't just the back four and the goalkeeper; it's everybody, isn't it? And once again, the work rate of our team is phenomenal, and we close people down. I thought we, in our passing, because they closed us as well, which they would at home. They pressed us. I thought we sort of allowed some loose balls, and we lost the ball a few times in possession, which you're going to get that against a team like Huddersfield. Ultimately, they weren't brilliant on the day, but they're still in 4th place, and they're going to be challenging for at least the playoffs. Yeah. So they're not a bad side in this league, are they?
Of course they're not. And I think that when we looked at the next 5 fixtures, and especially the last 2, I think a lot of Blues fans said Wrexham and Huddersfield, both 4 days apart, both away from home, we'll take a point at each of them just to get us through this. And
I still stand by that.
And we've come out with 4.
Yes,
you can't complain at that. And as you say, Dad, that to me, Serki, when you're in the stands and you're watching a game of football, to have defensive confidence is such a nice feeling. And our back line deserves so much credit, Dad. They're aggressive, they're consistent, they're good on the ball. Everything comes through Ben Davies and Claro because it all up. Again, Allsop's distribution.
I was literally just about to mention him. I mean, that was absolutely staggering. I mean, two times in the first half. Obviously it's a tactic, but it's all right having that tactic, saying to the goalkeeper, when you see an opportunity, put the ball there. But to place the ball that distance to that accuracy, I mean, the one ball was phenomenal. He actually went over the defender and Laird went through. And one thing I'd like to see with Laird, as well, because he does get in good positions, I'd like to see him have a shot at goal more often because his tendency, because he went through once when he could have had a shot. Okay, he might not have scored, but he's got a good left foot on him, hasn't he?
He has.
Right foot, sorry.
So,
he's got a good right foot on him. And his tendency is to supply and cross, but sometimes because of his pace, there's not always the players in the box at the time. So just have a go,
honestly,
Ethan.
Honestly, that Ethan Laird, if he could deliver the ball or finish his final end product, I genuinely think he'd be a high-end Championship, low-end Premier League player. If he got his final delivery right, he's fast, he gets in through the back, he's got good energy, he's quick, he's good on the ball. Like, what's not to like about Laird apart from his final delivery?
He's really improved though, hasn't he?
He's good.
He got a lot of stick. I mean, obviously he was in a much different team last season, let's say, and he didn't have the players around him that he's got now. But this season started off a bit sluggish, but then I think that's because Chris Davies has a new manager, was tinkering around with various formations and trying players in different positions. But I think that he's found his best position, and I think the only thing that he now needs to really try and increase his sort of supply and goals as well, because there's no reason why he's up the pitch enough now. He should score goals, but I just like to see him on occasions, when he gets in these positions, have a shot at goal, because his tendency is to look up. I mean, there's one in particular I can remember. I think it was partway through the first half. Also, ball over the top, and it went straight to Laird, and he was running in on goal. And he could have shot early rather than what he did was he took it to the goal line and crossed it, because he crossed it, and then the ball didn't really sort of come to anything. So have a shot. The goalkeeper might save it, he might deflect, it could go in an own goal.
There was one really early, Dad. Laird went through, and it looked like again, from my perspective, it's a little, you get a better angle on the telly, you see it all, but in the stadium, it literally looked like all he had to do was roll it into Stansfield or Dykes' path, and it just went too far to the back post. And I just thought, if you could improve your delivery, Laird, you would be outstanding. But to me, Dad, I thought the first half was good in terms of, it was a bit boring, but who cares? A bit of a gritty game.
A bit like a chess match, really.
A bit like a chess match, and I think we had good control. I thought we had good spells. I thought our passages of play was decent in the first half, no doubt. But I think in the first half, for me, a little bit sloppy, a little bit moments.
Yeah, we can give the ball away a few times.
A few little moments of sloppiness, a few little poor decisions. I think to be which got ironed out in the second half. I think,
but partly as well, and I think you have to give Huddersfield a little bit of credit for this. They're the home team, and they were told to press. I think their press caught us out a few times because they pressed really high, didn't they?
They did.
But we should be better than that. But having said that, though, our football from the back, it's I don't really on occasions I do, but I'm not panicking every time we get the ball at the back now, because I'm thinking even some of the balls that we're playing, I'm thinking, because like sometimes they're playing the ball like from the middle, like Allsop will play a ball in through the middle.
I know.
And the player that's coming towards it, they've got players bearing down on it, but then we've got options left and right.
Yeah.
But we definitely improved on that, haven't we?
100%. Yeah, remember the first 4 games that at home, we were literally like, I can't watch it. This is just painful.
It's suicide football.
And again, I'm not going to jump back. I'm not going to dwell on this, but under Rooney tried it, and that was really bad. And then Chris Davies came in, and it was like a transition period, weren't it, with Chris Davies, because he's a good manager. He has got his identity, style of football. It took, what do you reckon, half a dozen games to get into a bit of a rhythm?
Maybe a few more.
Maybe a few more. To get into the rhythm a little bit, and the mistakes slow down. And now, since that Shrewsbury game with our defence and the way we play,
our defence is much better. We're conceding a lot less goals now. But I still, even now, where we are, I don't think we've clicked. I honestly don't. I think there's so much more. We're definitely getting better and better and better. But there's so much more into. I think this is the final third. I think I suppose if I'm being really sort of selfish, I'd like to see a few more goals, and like every other Blues fan. But it don't matter, because 1-0 gives you 3 points as much as 7-0.
Exactly.
Doesn't it?
Exactly. And I think there's something, as a fan, I think I said this earlier, that the confidence it gives you when you know you're not as vulnerable at the back. I mean, you've got to give credit to Ben Davies here as well, I think, because, as you said, since he became the consistent left part of centre-back, we have been outstanding. I mean, don't get me wrong, Clara deserves the plaudits, Cochrane, Laird, Bielek.
Nine clean sheets in the league since Davies has come in.
If you're looking at the Blues team as a jigsaw puzzle...
Out of 12, sorry.
No, yeah, but if you're looking at the Blues team as a jigsaw puzzle, the one thing that went into place was Exeter, Ben Davies at the left side of centre back. And since then, it's no coincidence.
Yeah, and you've got to give Chris Davies credit for that.
Of course we have.
He obviously identified the issue that we had against Shrewsbury, and he's changed it. Yeah. It's brilliant. But
also, coming on to the first half, because we'll get on to the second half, and one of my favourite bits, we're going to discuss the goal in a minute, is I feel like we have really good ideas. We try and do the right thing. We try and move the ball in the right areas. But sometimes, again, just coming back to that moment, maybe a little lapses in concentration, maybe a little bit of sloppiness, fatigue, I don't know what it is. Sometimes our execution just isn't quite sharp. But, we're doing the right things. This isn't a negative here. It's just an observation sometimes in a game. And there was one time, I think Leonard tried like a little bit of a back heel or a flick. You wouldn't have seen it on the telly. Chris Davies went berserk. Like he went... I mean, I love watching Chris Davies on the sideline. He's full of passion. He's full of, gets the players revved up. But he was... I don't think I've seen him that angry. He was fuming. And I think it was directed at Leonard. But I think he was getting fed up of the loose balls and a little bit of sloppiness. So overall, though, good first half. I thought we controlled it pretty well. And then anything on the first half? Should we get into the second half?
Just a few chances. I say we had a couple of chances where Allsop had picked out Laird, and obviously Laird had gone through. It didn't really amount to anything, but they were good opportunities. Taylor Gardner-Hickman in the 13th minute, he broke down the right, crossed the ball, but he didn't. Once again, we didn't have the timing of the players to come in at the right time, and it ended up going out for a corner. Free kick on the right. This is on 35 from Cochrane, and Clara just headed over the bar. So that was a good chance as well, and a great cross from Cochrane on the left, and Dykes was just short of connecting just a few minutes later. That was a great. I mean, Cochrane's cross when he whips them in, there can't be a better player in this league that can cross like that with the left foot. I mean, it's just, and Dykes was literally, he wasn't mega close to it, but if you timed his run just a few seconds earlier, that would have been a really good chance as well.
Do you know who Cochrane reminds me of, Dad?
Who's that?
Me at Leafield.
I thought you were going to say that. Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, like as a left back, you are expected, if you're like an attacking minded left back, to get some balls in the box. Yeah. So like to have a good left foot like that. I'm not. By the way, I was joking.
I think that's disrespectful because I don't think I don't think Cochrane's that good, to be honest. Anyway, so that's half time. Again, I know Blues fans don't like talking about possession, but 62% possession from Blues. But we'd had 6 shots and only 1 on target, and Huddersfield had 2 and 1 on target. And make of that what you like. I'm just
it wasn't the most entertaining first half, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so that was 0-0 at half time. Then we start the second half, no substitutions, and straight away, I think they for the first couple of minutes, as they always do, they tried, didn't they, the Huddersfield team, but and then the goal.
Go on. Do you want your moment, Dad?
I watched it on telly, didn't
Oh,
I?
yeah.
I'm gutted I wasn't there. I mean, and one thing as well, I will say, watching it on telly, I heard the Blues fans all the way through the game. So every single Birmingham City supporter that went to Huddersfield, including Matt and Joe, well done. That was the atmosphere. I felt like I was in parts. I was there with you. It was brilliant. The support was amazing.
It was good. And just quickly, Dad, before, because if you were there, you will know, we sung the Cardiff dance for about 12, 15 minutes on the bounce. It was just going round and round and round.
So somebody tell me why we sing that song, because obviously, I remember it from when we, years ago when we used to obviously play at Cardiff when Wembley was being built. But it's just carried on and on, hasn't it? So
it's a great little song, that is.
Yeah, it's a great song, and it's fantastic. But the goal, wow, what a goal. It was build up on the right hand side, but I think that firstly the finish that he had. I mean, you can't argue that was absolutely a stunning finish. I think if I was a Huddersfield fan and a Huddersfield mate, I'd be disappointed with that because they actually gave KESHI time to chest it down. He said in his post-match interview, for a split second, he thought about hitting it first time, but it came in a bit high, so he chested it down. Now, if that was our defence, we'd have had defenders just clearing that. And if you'd have had Michael Hicklick, that wouldn't have been a goal, I don't think. But thanks for selling him. I mean, KESHI, he gets, who was it, the cross? Was it header from Taylor Gardner-Hitman? There's Leonard, and then Taylor Gardner-Hitman headed it to him, didn't he?
That's the one. So he kind of bobbled, and then Taylor Gardner-Hitman headed it. And
then KESHI, and do you know what? As soon as it come to him, I thought, I didn't think, oh, this is definitely a goal. I thought, this is going to be a good chance, because you could tell the way he was lining it up. Yeah. He chested it down, and then puts his laces through it. My word.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely stunning.
What
a goal.
The away end goes
absolutely nuts. And
again, I have no idea who this was, but I was with my sister, and obviously you jump, we had a hug, and then some bloke pulled me by the hood over here like this, and just started hugging me. And I love football's the only place where a random bloke will just come over and start hugging you and dancing with you. And all this. It was great. And then after that, it was just electric in the away end. It was great, and
Well,
what a finish.
The thing is, Matt, as well. Nowadays, when we score a goal, when we go up, because of our defensive record, we've got every chance of holding on to that. Of course, we'd like to have seen a second goal, and we had a few half chances here and there. But even 1-0 up, there's always a possibility they could get a penalty, they could have a fluke, a deflection, whatever. That happens in football.
Of course, yeah.
But with the way we are defensively at the moment, not that I feel that we're invincible, because we're not. I just feel we're a lot more solid, and so I thought once that goal went in, I thought this is going to be really hard for Huddersfield now. And as it turned out, they put 10 minutes of injury time on at the end of it, but that was because of the injury to Awata, which we'll come on to in a sec. And they had one of their players, I think Dykes again. He knocked someone out, didn't he? Nearly.
He's making a habit of that, isn't he? What was the game when that guy went off?
That was Exeter.
Exeter, yeah.
Do you know what? I looked at it. I don't think he does it maliciously.
No,
I think he's just literally a bulky chap that jumps up. And it happens, unfortunately. He's not trying to hurt people. It's just that he's a solid player, isn't he?
You can tell it's authentic when their eyes are on the ball. Yeah. You have no interest in hurting the man around you if your eyes are on the ball.
You can tell by the reaction. Initially, the Huddersfield players were having their arms up, but then I think they realised that there was nothing really in it. It was just a 50-50 challenge. But I want to talk about the challenge on Awata.
Please do.
That I saw that, obviously, because I wasn't the telly. He should have been sent off for that. It was Jonathan Hogg. He went in late on Awata was running that midfield, and he was linking the play up. He was defensively brilliant, and obviously this Jonathan, I think he came on as a sub Hogg, and he went through and his foot led through, and he actually caught his ankle.
Could have snapped his leg.
I hope, and I really hope the league look at that and retrospectively do something. It's not going to affect us. We're not going to play him again, but I don't think players should be allowed to get away with that. That was disgraceful. And
we've moaned on this podcast, Dad, about the officiating, about the refereeing, and we're normally quite mellow and polite on this podcast. We'll say, that weren't good, or they weren't very good, but that was a disgrace. Yeah. And that referee was 4 yards away from it. If you look at the freeze frame of when his foot connects with his ankle, the ref is looking at it like that, and he's 4 yards away. How is that not a red card?
No.
It's a disgrace.
He should have been sent off. And at the time of recording, we don't know what the extent of that injury is at the moment. We haven't heard anything. Chris Davis in his post-match interview said it was a sore one. He didn't talk about breaks or anything major, but he doesn't know because you have to get scanned and looked at, don't you?
Just from looking at that, I would say that could be a season ender.
Well, a lot of people.
You just don't know.
A lot of people. I mean, he's definitely going to be out for some, a period of time. I just hope it's a short period of time. But that was naughty, and I think that was just demonstrating the frustration. Not that that's not an excuse, by the way, but they're just frustrated. We were. I mean, particularly towards the latter parts of the game, we were passing the ball around quite nicely.
Yeah.
They came on a little bit strong towards the end, which they would because they need a goal.
Yeah, but you could have that challenge could have quite literally ended his career. He could have snapped the joint on his leg.
I completely agree, and that should be dealt with, and I hope the league look.
And
at
also,
that.
Again, I don't want to jump on here, but I think it's worth saying, right? Not just to discipline the referee. He's 4 yards away from that. If these referees want to get better and the standard want to get better, they need to be held accountable.
Well, they do have observers in because, as you know, I used to be a county referee, and they have observers in the stands watching their performances, and so somebody needs to it's, at the end of the day, Matt. I suppose and this is not defending referees. Referees are human beings as well. They make decisions in a split second. They have to get it right. I get that, but they are like footballers. They're going to make mistakes as well, and sometimes they're going to be bad ones, and it's going to be highlighted. But we do need a higher level of consistency.
I guess that's one incident where VAR would have been good because that would have been a straight red, no doubt.
Yeah, I think they'll have to relook at that as well. I think that was on 76. That was, and then Iwata was substituted 2 minutes after that with Stansfield, and Dowell came on and Bielek. Bielek again, he provides that little bit of steel. Again, there's rumours that potentially he could be on his. I hope he's not. I hope we keep Bielek.
If we do, regardless of money, that would be the most silly bit of business we've ever done. Just in the context of depth before the window's about to close, we've got no opportunity to bring someone else in. And if someone gets injured,
well, we have at the moment because the window's not closed. But that's the problem.
But it's too tight.
But why bother? Why would you sell it unless somebody offers silly money for it?
Yeah, that's different. I guess
that's different. But if they offer something that we think, okay, for where we are at the moment with the squad we've got, we'll take that because that's going to improve our squad with somebody we can buy. But if that needs to happen because the window closes on Monday, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes, it's Monday.
Yeah,
it's Monday.
And for what it's worth, Dad, I like Bielek. I don't want him to go anywhere.
I don't want him to go.
No.
But also as well, you'd also argue from his perspective, he's playing as a substitute at the moment. He ain't going to like that. No. So he might. But then again, if he goes, I think Stoke's been rumoured. Is he going to be a first choice at Stoke? Probably. I don't know. But
Dion Sanderson's gone to Blackburn in the Championship. Bielek will get all our players that have been rumoured are going up a level. It shows where we are, don't it?
Yeah.
But I want Bielek to stay. I think that would be silly because of where we are in terms of injuries and squad depth. But yeah, for me, Dad, just quickly off before we close it, I thought controlled performance, quite gritty in places. We were dominant. We didn't really feel much under threat from Huddersfield. I thought our press was good as well. And a few people that have said recently about Stansfield not being really effective in games and all these different things. But look at the energy.
Yeah.
He is relentless. He does not stop from start to finish. And that is so key with the way Chris Davies wants to play.
Yeah.
I love his energy. I love his work rate, the amount of he runs that line. And not a perfect performance. I think we could sharpen up in certain areas. Our final ball could be a little bit better. But things are looking good.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? We're talking about 3 points against a team in fourth place, and we are, starting now with Wycombe because they got a late winner, didn't they? Again to draw away
90 plus 5.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not even worried about Wycombe or Wrexham or Huddersfield. All we need to do is concentrate on our own results. That's it. Mm-hmm. And if we keep doing this, we'll get promoted. But I just felt that overall, it was a really important 3 points. It gave us that sort of little bit of breathing space between the third place team. We've got games in hand, and we've got. I don't know if you saw Michael Duff's post-match interview as well.
I didn't actually know.
I mean, that guy's deluded. I mean, he was saying that I suppose from a score perspective, there wasn't much in it, but there's a world of difference between the two teams in that game.
Yeah.
Yes, industrious, they're hardworking, like they would expect them to be. But they created very little. I mean, they didn't trouble our goalkeeper at all, really.
No.
And he was saying it was really close, and he was saying it was just one moment of quality that won the game. And at the end of the day,
but you got to remember that he's the opposition manager.
Yeah,
he's gonna play that game.
Yeah. And obviously, you don't expect him to compliment any opposition team or anything like that. But come on, be realistic. Be honest about your own team. That was a poor performance overall. I'd expected more for Huddersfield at home. Should be probably our toughest game of the season. I think for them. For them being at home, I was really glad that it wasn't, and we got the 3 points, and that's the main thing. And onto the next game. But well done Blues. Well done Blues fans as well, by the way. Fantastic support
Yeah,
in the way end.
And we move on to Rotherham at home at the weekend.
Yeah, and watch out for that video. We'll be doing a Rotherham preview video in the next few days. So as always, you'll get to see that. So just keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah, well said. So as always, Birmingham City supporters, we would love to hear from you. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And myself and Dad, as you know, will get around to that as quickly as we possibly can. Maybe you're a Huddersfield Town fan. Let us know your thoughts and comments in the section below. We had to walk back to the car last night, and I know there was a lot of grumblings and mumblings and improvements to be made from the Huddersfield team, but we'd like to hear from you as well. Please drop us a comment in the section below. If you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and you can also check us out on Spotify if you like to listen to your podcasts over there. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to press the big red subscribe button and press that bell notification so you get notified every time we post a video. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.